There is something that's very strange going on with Pablo Hidalgo. And what that is has a lot of people speculating, a lot of rumors swirling about Pablo Hidalgo and his status at Lucasfilm. If you don't know who Pablo Hidalgo is, he's been at Lucasfilm for over 2 decades at this point. You know, he started off low and started continuing to, get more power, start being involved with continuity and canon and maintaining things. And, by the time Disney bought Star Wars, Pablo Hidalgo was very well known in Star Wars circles, and he became the head of the story group, for whatever that means at this point, because as we know, continuity in Disney Star Wars is basically a joke. But in recent years, the thing that Pablo Hidalgo has been more well known for is going after fans. In the aftermath of The Last Jedi, when so many people were upset about what got put on screen from Rian Johnson, that's really when I think a lot of people that were maybe considered themselves Star Wars normies, or that I would consider Star Wars normies, started hearing about who Pablo Hidalgo was, because he was attacking fans, he was attacking YouTubers, he was attacking anybody who wasn't following the Disney party line. And since that time, he's been involved in several more controversies, including with the Gina Carano fire. And it's reported that he's the person who leaked Gina Carano being fired to the press. And of course, Pablo Hidalgo is the one who, over a year ago, made fun of Star Wars Theory for crying after Luke Skywalker returned in The Mandalorian. Spoiler alert, I guess, a year after the fact, but spoiler alert for Luke Skywalker. But now, what Pablo Hidalgo is in the news for is his Twitter bio. And as you can see, it says public alt of @Pablo Hidalgo. This is not Pablo Hidalgo's only Twitter account. He has another one. If you didn't know that, he does. It's protected. So we don't know what he's saying on there. I don't really know anyone who follows him on there. He's very picky about who he lets follow. But let's read. Author, SAG-AFTRA, dispensable cog, anti-fascist, anti-racist, hashtag Black Lives Matter, header by @Manchia, Adventures of R2 and the various other people. Now, the reason why this is so interesting is because he recently changed this. Within the past, I would say 48 hours, he changed this. Yavin Forth tagged some people on Twitter and said, any clue about Pablo Hidalgo deleting that he works for Lucasfilm? Because this is what it used to say. LFL development and franchise team member. Now it doesn't say that. Now it says dispensable cog. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? Now, of course, this immediately starts so many rumors about Pablo Hidalgo being fired from Lucasfilm. Pablo Hidalgo, he's finally gone. He's finally been fired. Well, I would slow down on that talk specifically. I don't think that Pablo Hidalgo has been fired. However, I do think there's something going on for a couple of reasons. Now, when you look at some of the replies, you can go through and search Pablo Hidalgo on Twitter. He's still tweeting both from his open account and his protected account. I wish I knew what that protected account said. I wish I knew, because there might be some hint as to what's going on. I hope somebody who watches this video or this live stream can potentially share some information about that. But when you look at Pablo Hidalgo's timeline, this happened, again, well over 24 hours ago. Since that time, he's continuing to talk about Star Wars. Look at this. 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago, he's continuing to tweet about inside information about Star Wars, about Lucasfilm. All right? Like, look at all of this. He's responding to people's questions and people's comments. This is about a model of vehicle that appears in Star Wars. This is not something you do if you get fired. Bottom line, it's just not. If you get fired from Lucasfilm, this isn't what you're doing. I think there's a couple other things that could be happening right now. And one of them involves a controversy that Pablo Hidalgo was involved in just a little bit ago. And that is this. J.J. Abrams' company disagreed with Lucasfilm on major Star Wars Force Awakens scene. And Pablo Hidalgo, this is like 2 weeks ago. He has since deleted this tweet, but he comes out and says, basically, Bad Robot wanted to blow up Coruscant. Lucasfilm didn't. Hosnian Prime was the unsatisfying middle ground. It happens. This created a big problem because it gave a lot of backlash. It looked like there was a bunch of infighting between J.J. Abrams' camp and Lucasfilm, and potentially that could have been a violation of an NDA. It really could have been. He might have revealed too much. You know, between what he said about Gina Carano, potentially leaking her being fired, and now this, they could be very mad at him for, you know, having a problem with a non-disclosure agreement. Whatever the cause is, it's clear they're trying to keep it quiet. You know, whatever the reason that Pablo Hidalgo removed Lucasfilm from his bio, they're trying to keep it quiet right now. I think that could be it. One thing, he could have been in trouble for leaking too much, for violating NDAs, things like that. And potentially, they're offering him this opportunity to quietly leave. Second option, he's trolling everybody. Pablo Hidalgo, even on his own Twitter timeline, I don't know if I can find this far back, Pablo Hidalgo is a notable troll all the time. Pablo Hidalgo is a troll. He's replying to Mike Zero videos, you know, people talking about Mike Zero, stuff like this. He hates YouTubers. He hates all the fake rumor mills. He just does. That's a potential. A third option for Pablo Hidalgo is that it doesn't have to do with NDAs and it doesn't have to do with trolling. And maybe there's some kind of scandal. You know, it happens. Things happen at companies. People do things they're not supposed to, maybe with other people in the office. There's been a couple rumors floating around. All right. None that I can verify, anything like that. So that's why this is just one of three options. But things that Disney just would not want out there, it wouldn't look good for them if this came out. So potentially, maybe they just want him to kind of quietly, you know, slink away, take Lucasfilm out of his bio. Maybe a couple weeks or months from now, he steps away quietly with some dignity so they can keep everything covered up. I think those are the three options of what's going on. Here's one thing I know for certain. Pablo Hidalgo was not fired for the way he treats fans. That's not a problem for Lucasfilm. The way that these people interact with fans is not a problem for Lucasfilm. That is clear, or he would have been fired a long time ago. And also the fact that this just happened this way and not some big thing where they release, oh, this person or this person doesn't represent our company. This person is vile and disgusting. Like we saw what happened with Gina Carano when they slandered her on the way out. We know that's not happening. So that's why I think it's one of these three things. It's trolling, it's the NDA problem, or there's something a little more insidious. There's something a little more insidious going on at Lucasfilm with Pablo Hidalgo. Maybe he's involved in some sort of controversy. I don't know. One thing's for sure, this is not some, well, they finally fired him because he was talking bad about the fans. No, that's not it. This is Disney's Star Wars. This is the same company who fired Gina Carano over nothing, but allowed Pedro Pascal to call half the country bad guys from World War II with no repercussions. So we don't quite know what's going on with Pablo. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about this. A lot of rumors are going to be spun from it. But I think realistically, the options I laid out are what's going on. But I know a lot of people will be looking forward to hearing more about the future of Pablo Hidalgo with Star Wars. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.